Hello everyone, welcome to CNA, the daily newspaper analysis. So today we are back with the following content of list to discuss. So let's start. The first topic says about the same-sex marriages. So recently, the center has told the Supreme Court that it could not recognize the same-sex marriages because it would lead to disorient the values that we have got today in our society. And therefore, it will be going against the personal laws in the countries which is accepted amongst the societies as of today. So we all know about the scenario that even recently the Supreme Court has also issued notices to the central government on a plea by two gay couples seeking recognitions of the same-sex marriages under the Special Marriage Act of 1954. But there are various number of issues that have raised via these respective petitions. Supposedly, today if I see about this PIL saying about the LGBTQ plus community. So today we need to go ahead with the process of equalizing these people amongst the people who are basically said to be straight. But today, because of the problems faced by this LGBTQ plus community, and therefore they want a proper recognitions of them, they are directly wanting to make this particular matter systems of them or this particular attractions of them towards a particular asset in the upcoming times. So therefore, they are today going ahead with this process of creating various number of awareness as well as legislation so that they could get some of the recognitions. But today, even we can see that the center or the state central government is not yet ready to accept such number of regime changes in the personal law boards. And therefore, today we can see that the center is wholeheartedly directly rejecting such number of consent given to the same sex of marriages. So let's see what happens in the coming times in association with the Supreme Court. Okay, so that was with this LGBTQIA plus community. Okay, so here all these people, this L is for lesbians, B is for gays, B is for bisexual, this is for trans, this is for queer, this is for intersex, this is asexual, and all the other communities that are within this particular aspect. So that was said about the respective LGBTQI community. So we can see that in various number of states, such things is very much legalized and have already recognized. Okay, so here we have got some of the examples. So let's see what in the coming times India has hold on for this particular people that are associated with this LGBTQIA plus community. Okay, chalo. Next, if I see about this Oscar awards, about India bagging 2 Oscars. So we have recently seen about Natu Natu, the irrepressible fun number from the film RRR, okay, which is this particular song, which is a famous dance between these two heroes. Okay, so therefore today we can see that we have won this Natu Natu and the Elephant Whisperers that bring home 2 Oscars. So that is a good sign of India directly representing itself with some of the traditional songs associated with this particular country. So we have got some of the 3 participants associated with this Natu Natu song and 2 documentaries saying that All That Breaths and the Elephant Whisperers. So this is the 95 editions of the Academy Awards, and therefore we can see that 2 of our particular participants is directly successful in making this particular 2 Oscar awards, and therefore you can see this all peoples directly are very happy to go on for this Oscars. Okay, so it's a great movement for India. So congratulations, India. Next, India's petroleum product export to EU. So why this is all in news? Because recently what we have seen that India's petroleum product exports to the European Union have grown notably over the past few months as the region wins itself of refined products from Russia due to war in Ukraine. So we can see that India's petroleum exports to the UN rose to around 20.4% year in year. That is, today it is amounting to around 11.6 million tons. And this trend is significant as the global oil markets affected from Russia ban on supplies, countries like India are helping maintain a demand-supply balance while preventing extreme price shocks. So the European Union does not want to buy crude oil as well as refined fuels and products from Russia. And countries like India, which is a major oil refiner, are playing their part in bridging the gap by buying Russian oil on one hand and increasing the supply of refined products to the EU on the other hand. So what are these petroleum products that this EU directly deals with us? It's basically saying about the distilled and processed crude oil, be it gasohol, be it the motor gasoline, be it the aircraft fuel, be it the alcohol blended fuels, aviation gasoline. All these are a part of this particular Indian petroleum products. Okay, so therefore, this was a news about how European Union is directly going to be a major partner with respective to countries like India in terms of petroleum products. Okay, chalo. Nextly, restoration of diplomatic relations between Saudi Arabia and Iran. So why this is all about? So recently what we have seen is that Saudi and Iranian officials held bilateral talks that concluded with an agreement to restore diplomatic ties which have severed since 2016. And the major diplomatic breakthrough negotiated by China is in Beijing. So it comes as diplomats have been trying to end a long war in Yemen and a conflict in which both Iran and Saudi Arabia are deeply entrenched. So what is the key outcome of this particular talks that has recently been held? So the two countries plan to reopen their respective embassies in Tehran and Riyadh. So they also vote to respect country sovereignty and not interfere in internal affairs, and also agreed to activate a 2001 Security Cooperation Agreement as well as General Economy Trade and Investment Agreement that was signed in 1998. So we know that conflict between Iran and Saudi Arabia is basically associated with the Shia and the Sunni conflict. Okay, that is a religious factor. Also, we can see about various number of attacks on Saudi Arabia that has been done by respectively Iran. Okay, also we can see about the proxy wars, the regional cold wars between the two major nations like USA and Russia. So therefore, we can see that such things have directly betrayed the relations between these two. And therefore, today, such type of relations is very much useful and is also, it's a good sign for this particular region to get stabilized. Okay, so therefore, today we could see that if these two countries comes together, then it will be also been helpful in India for its energy security, trade, and also for its geopolitics and regional stability. So therefore, India can play a constructive role in promoting dialogue and cooperation between these two countries, which can help in achieving regional stability. Also, India needs to be vigilant about the increasing Chinese influence in the region and also working towards securing its strategic interest in the Middle East. So that was with respective to this particular topic, that how Saudi Arabia and Iran is basically coming towards in ending a year-long dispute right from 2016. Okay, so that was all with this respective news. Next, India remains world's largest importer of arms. So we have seen that in the recent times, India has directly the world's largest arms importer, or you can directly say that India has in the very 5-year period, according to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, that is the SIPRI, India's arm imports have dropped by 11% between 2013-17 and 2018-22. But today, it has slowly increasing with its respective supplies. So today we know that for India, the largest suppliers was Russia. Even France emerged as the second largest supplier. And we can see that among the top 10 exporters for the period, we can see India export markets to 3 countries around Russia, France, and Israel, even going for South Korea. So for the same period, we can see that India remained by the largest arms importer, followed by Saudi Arabia. And Russia accounted for around 45% of India's imports, followed by France and US, which are 29 and 11% respectively. So India was the third largest arms supplier to Myanmar after Russia and China, accounting for around 14% of their respective imports. So today we could see that though India remains the world's largest importer of arms because of the security concerns that what India have with the conflict like India-China as well as India-Pakistan, also, we could see about the slow and the complex procurement process that is often leading to delays in acquiring weapons and equipments. Then also we can see about the lack of domestic production for why we are basically importing various number of our respective arms. And even we can see about the diversification of suppliers. तो आज पाकिस्तान जो खरीदेंगे वो हम लोग तो पक्का नहीं खरीदेंगे. So that's why we should be diversified with our particular relations so that we could maintain the gap as well as to supply all the respective arms that what Indian armed forces basically needs. So therefore, today, even the CIPRI has even recognized India to be the world's largest importer of arms, followed by countries like Russia as well as UK. Okay, chalo. Next, lastly, India's naval base at Andaman. So it is saying about that how strategically Andaman is a very important island with respective to India. So we have seen that Andaman Nicobar Islands, which is located on the Indian Ocean, are a group of 572 islands in the southeastern part of Bay of Bengal. And these islands are situated close to Indonesia and Thailand. So the strategic importance has not been fully appreciated by India from security and economic standpoint. And environmental degradation is a major concern in this particular region at present. And therefore, today we can see about the significance of this particular region, be it for maritime activities, be it for various number of overseas development assistance, and also with respective to various number of processes being about going in for sustainable development. So today, if we have to go and access this particular area, so we know about this area, which is very much proximal closer to the Strait of Malacca, which is the main area through which the China directly imports and exports all its respective cargo to the outside world. So therefore, if we have got a proper control and we have got a proper base of this particular region, then in the coming times, we can have a proper monitoring on this particular region so that we can track China's every move associated with this particular area. So developing this island in the basis of security model is very important. And also we can directly come up with various number of linking projects, be it the submarine optical fiber cable, be it digital Indias, be it banking, telemedicine, etc. Also, we could see about the thrust to the shipbuilding and the repair industry, where we can prove some of the facilities out, because we know that India is directly the largest market in association with ship restructurations. So, अगर chip का यहाँ पे जो हम लोग restructures करते हैं, ship को जो हम लोग decommission करते हैं, तो at such point of time, we could directly see that India is directly the biggest large scrapper market in the world. And therefore, this remains a very good industry for India to directly focus upon. And even in terms of military or in terms of security sector, India could leverage this particular islands so as to give a direct challenge to China, because China is very much nervous in this particular region because of India's proximity in this region. So therefore, let's see how the Indian Army as well as the Indian Navy and the Indian Air Force, who are basically forming the Tri-Naval Command Force in Andaman in Port Blair, how they can directly leverage this particular naval base, which is the new naval base in this particular island. So let's see what comes for India in the coming times with this particular island coming into prominence as a strong naval base as well as a 3 armed forces base in this particular area, countering China and its respective moves. Okay, so that was all with this particular editorial. We have these 5 narrow MCQs. Please do attempt these MCQs and also do join our WhatsApp and Telegram channel for further updates. So that's all for today. Thank you and Jai Hind.